So hello everybody, my name is Shira Oz-Sinai, and this is an orientation session to the map of meditation. I've been wanting to share this, what I've found to be a very useful tool for many, many years now. And I got a chance to share it last year over the course of a year with a women's meditation circle. And I have found that through working with them and this map that it provides us with a profound inquiry. So that just made me more eager and more motivated to share this with others and hope that it could serve as a really useful tool for us, for those of us interested in meditation and those of us interested in discovering or becoming better familiar and more intimate with our own presence. When I started meditating, I had no idea that there was a map. No one told me. And it was a lot of trial and error, some on my own, some with teachers. And it was like going to some place without a map and just having to figure out on my own what street to turn on and where to go. And there were moments that were confusing. There were moments that I felt lost. There were beautiful, blissful moments that I had no idea what they were about. So I wanted to share this orientation session so that you too could know about this map that is not a map to a specific geographical territory, but a map to the territory of being. This map now is like a friendly reference for me and really great support for any practice of meditation, and especially for knowing my true nature. So let's dive in. I'd love to share the map with you. Speak a little bit about it and what it contains in the map, and then share a brief meditation that explores the map, after which I'll have some time for Q&A for you to ask your questions and see if I have some answers. And if you think of any questions throughout the session, like I said before, you can drop them into the chat and I'll come back to them later. All right, so the map of meditation. The map of meditation, I was introduced to this during my training with iRest, Integrative Restoration, my training for iRest Yoga Nidra Meditation. And this map is essentially a compilation of ancient yogic wisdom. You know, the ancient yogis, the practitioners of meditation from centuries ago, they practiced and practiced and practiced and would get together and share their experiences and talk about what they felt, what they noticed, what they experienced, and they started comparing notes, so to speak. And through their comparison of notes over dozens of years, hundreds of years, they discovered that there are universal signposts, that there are universal, let's call them stages of meditation, of what everyone may experience, may discover, may find when they practice meditation. So these universal signposts over centuries have been put together into stages or steps or a map that we can follow and can serve for us as a compass or a way to know the inner landscape of being and the inner landscape of meditation. So in this way, we are essentially never really lost during meditation, and we always know where we are. Now, just like any kind of map, let's say a map to Washington, D.C., when you have that map in your hand, you have an orientation to the space. You know where the streets are, where the different circles or squares are. And what you don't know is what you're going to encounter when you get there. So you can follow the map and go to DuPont Circle, for example, but you have no idea what you will discover when you get there. Is it sunny? Is it raining? Are there 30 people in the square? Is it empty? Are you going to feel okay when you get there? Are you going to feel anger or sadness or bewilderment? We don't know what our experience is going to be, but we can know, oh, I'm right here in DuPont Circle. It's the same thing with this map of meditation. It doesn't tell us what our personal experience is going to be, but it gives us an orientation, a way to know where we are within our meditation practice and where we are within our connection to our own presence, to the field of awareness. And that is a very useful tool, just like a map is, to know where we are. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to share the screen and share with you the map. And that's the map as a whole, a one sheet, essentially. And what I'd like to do over the next few moments is really walk you through how it's designed. I found from sharing it this past year with the Women's Meditation Circle, I found from their reaction that it could be quite daunting to look at this. Like, how do we even look at this? Where do we start? Where's the up? Where's the down? Where's the north? Where's the south? So I'm going to spend the next few moments just talking about this map. I will leave it in the short sort of one-page form for now so that you could have an overview of it. And then I will discuss the different layers of it, and I'll zoom into those so you can take a look at those. Over here on the left side in the black border, you can see the evolution of these teachings over centuries. So many of us have started our studies of yoga or yoga philosophy or yoga meditation with Patanjali's sutras. So this map traces Patanjali's teachings and the teachings that come before it in the Samkhya Karika. So that's the initial phase that this map explores, Samkhya and Patanjali's teachings, and then the evolution of these teachings into the Advaita Vedanta school of teaching, all the way through non-dualism, which is more contemporary, the evolution into contemporary time, unqualified non-dualism. So we're really covering centuries worth of yogic meditation and the evolution of these teachings. And I remember distinctly a moment in this last year of exploring this map where we got to the end of Patanjali's teaching, so to speak, around here in number 25. And one of the participants said, wait, there's more? There's something past number 25. So this really explores the length of exploration, the depth of exploration, really, from Patanjali on, all the way up to our current day. So that is the black border here on the left-hand side. Right next to it on the left-hand side is a series of illustrations and a description of each illustration that really take us through the stages and give us a visual. They really give us a visual that I find extremely helpful. I'm a very visual person, so I find it very helpful to have this visual component to the map, and I'll zoom in so you could take a look in a moment, a closer look in a moment. Right next to the illustrations, the column next to that, excuse me, the column next to that offers the main exploration for any stage. So we have physical and energy body and the senses here in the first layer, the first stage at the bottom, all the way through pure being beyond thought here in the last layer at the top. And by the way, I say first and last layer, but this map can be looked at from number 1 through 37, or number 37 can be the first all the way down to number 1. So we can turn this map around. The words won't align right if we turn it around, but we can turn this map around and start our whole inquiry at number 37 and make our way to number 1. So in that third column, right next to the illustrations, are essentially the essences, or what it is that we're exploring at this stage of meditation. And underneath it, you'll see in smaller lettering are the chakras, the energy centers that relate to each one of these layers or steps or stages of meditation. Lastly, the largest column here that traces the numbers 1 through 37. This column explores the content. It shows us the content of what it is that we're exploring during meditation. And I will now discuss each stage a little bit more in depth, so you can also get a closer look at this map. I'm going to start at the bottom. With physical and energy body. So I'm pausing so you can take a closer look. You can read for yourself. We start with number 1, with the elements. We go through earth, water, fire, air, and space. Now, what is this map telling us? This map is showing us that when we sit down for meditation, the first movement of meditation is through sensing the physical and energy body. We notice the smell all of a sudden. We notice the taste. We notice the sounds. You know, for me, the sounds are usually the first thing. When I sit down to meditation and I quiet myself down into settling in, the first thing I notice are sounds. Oh, I didn't realize that was happening before. So this first layer traces the first movement of, like I said, the universal signpost, universally what we explore in the first movement of meditation. We sense the feeling of earth underneath us, perhaps the sense of liquid or flow in our body, and etc. And it's really in this phase that we begin to train our attention. We shift it from sounds to taste to sensations in the body to energetic pulsation. And we're training attention. We're shifting it from these obvious sensations to more subtle ones, to subtler ones. And eventually we're making our way to resting in presence, for our attention to rest in presence. But here at the beginning, in stages 1 through 10, we are just sensing. We are just beginning to train our attention. And these are considered the more obvious sensations, right? If you have a pain in the knee, it's going to be an obvious sensation that you explore in the first few moments of meditation. So that's the first layer. The second layer, as we deepen our meditation, as we spend more time with these sensations, a second movement, or a second stage, if you will, shows up, and we begin to notice feelings in our body, and emotions. This can also relate to what you see here in numbers 11 through 20. We notice physical parts, 16 to 20, nose, tongue, eyes, skin, ears, and we begin to notice, sometimes more obviously than other times, a sense of security and potency, powerfulness, lovingness, and authenticity. For me, these don't always show up with these words. I'll feel sadness. I'll feel tightness or discomfort or dis-ease. I'll feel a sense of joy or lightness. We all have our own experience. And just like I said, the map doesn't tell you what your experience is going to be, but it tells you that when you're experiencing these feelings and emotions, you are your attention is with this stage of the map, this layer. And we're still here working with training our attention. So we've moved from the more obvious physical sensations to now the more subtle feelings and emotions. And then we move to the yet more subtle, the subtler thoughts. And why am I saying that these are subtler or more subtle is because it's fairly easy for us to notice sensations in the body. When we have a pain in the shoulder or a good feeling of satisfaction, we just ate a full meal in our belly, it's a relatively more obvious sensation for us to notice. Now, recognizing thoughts and each thought in and of itself is considered in the practice of meditation more subtle. So when we reach this point in meditation where we can recognize different thoughts, we are entering into a more intimate inquiry with our own selves and with our own mind. So when we shift from the feelings and emotions to cognition, from the second layer to the third layer, we are beginning to realize that sensations, feelings, and thoughts are not good or bad, but rather are signposts, are pointers to our own presence. We begin to realize that they are sources of information rather than something that denotes positive or negative. So in this cognition phase, we begin to get to know or develop our relationship with the ego or the ego I thoughts, the I am good at this, or I am bad at that, or I can do this, or I can't do that, all these I thoughts. But we don't stop there. Our inquiry continues as our meditation deepens. And when I say that, what I mean, it could be in one single meditation when we sit and our meditation deepens, or it could be over time, or both, actually. Both over time and within one singular practice, we can travel this entire map. Okay. So we are now looking at object number 24 and subject number 25. Here we begin to become aware not only of thoughts, but that thing, that part of us, that aspect of ourselves that notices thoughts. So we have thoughts and we have the noticing of thoughts. We have sensations and the noticing of sensations. We experience feelings and we notice the feelings that we experience. So in this stage, in 24 and 25, object, subject, we begin to explore this seeming duality. It looks like it's dual. It looks like there's two aspects to our experience, both what we feel and the noticing of what we feel. And this is where we are in this investigation, inquiry of duality in number 24 and 25. As we move on to the next phase, and you know, I pause for a moment because there is so much that I could say about every single phase. You know, this is centuries worth of yogic wisdom that has been collected by practitioners of meditation. And so there is a wealth of knowledge and experience embedded in each one of these lines, really. But today, my intention, my goal here is to just give you a brief overview, to give you a taste, to give you a bit of a sense of what this map contains and what it could offer you. So I'm going to skip along to number 26, even though I'd love to spend more time on each one of these stages. Numbers 26 to 31 are the 6 revelations. This is where we begin to encounter or get to know more intimately, because now we've already spent time with our thoughts. We can already recognize each thought, distill it when it passes through our awareness. We are able to experience the thought and notice the experiencing of the thought. So when we get to this stage of meditation, if you will, we begin to recognize those not enough thoughts. Not good enough, there's not enough time, I don't know enough, I'm not lovable enough, I'm not doing enough, I can't do enough, there's not enough space for me, I'm not in the right place in my life. All these sort of not enough, and I say sort of, meaning they have that sense of not something enough. When we encounter these thoughts, typically in our day-to-day lives, these thoughts can really bring us down, especially when they bombard us, when so many of them are coming at us. This stage in this map teaches us that when these thoughts arrive, they are actually a covering, a pointer to our presence, to our true nature, our wholeness. And for those of you who've been around and receiving my emails over the last year or so, last academic year, this past January, I should say, January 2019, I offered a course specifically on numbers 26 to 30 only. So we could have 7 sessions, 2 hours each. I think it was 2.5 hours each for each one of these. So for now, I'll just say that this is the stage where we encounter these not something enough thoughts. And it's where we also discover that they are a pointer to our true nature and our presence, our true nature as wholeness. This is also where we begin to recognize that feeling of being separate and alone, that is a universal feeling that we all humans experience. First of all, we recognize that it's universal, and we recognize it now as a pointer to the interconnectedness of all of life. Now, I will share at this point that for me, this whole exploration or understanding, or this depth of knowing and feeling these things that I'm saying, did not happen overnight and did not happen in one single seated meditation. This is an evolution over several years and many, many meditation practices. But the map now, and studying the map, has strengthened my practice and has allowed me to realize that when I'm sensing or experiencing aloneness or separateness, it's a pointer, and then I can follow that pointer. I can follow that pointer to the experience of presence. And that's what this practice has, with this map, has given me personally, a deeper and more intimate relationship with my own presence. So the map doesn't end there, although that feels sufficient, knowing that we're connected to all of life and are not alone. That can be very fulfilling and supportive for all of us to not know with our minds, but actually feel, have the experience of it. But the map does not end there. It continues on to this layer of numbers 32 through 34, where we explore consciousness, this presence, this wholeness that we are. We begin to discover or develop a closer relationship with this consciousness that we are, and we begin to realize, or again, develop the realization that consciousness, awareness, our wholeness permeates all things, that all things are made of this wholeness, this presence. And that relates to that interconnectedness of all of life, that we explore in the stage before. And that's what happens in meditation, is that as we develop our practice, our meditation deepens, and each stage builds on another. Our understanding deepens, our knowing, our realizing, our realization deepens. And that's why the other name for this map, the path of meditation, as you can see at the top, the other name for it is the path of self-realization or self-recognition. Because through the practice of meditation and traveling this map, we learn ourselves. We learn our true nature. We learn to realize that which we are. And I will say that wholeness that we all are. So that's numbers 32 through 34. And then we reach numbers 35 through 36. Here, as our meditation evolves, we're less drawn by specific sensations, emotions, and thoughts. For a lot of people, the experience in meditation is the first few moments they feel consumed by how their body feels, usually discomfort, and maybe thoughts from work, from the day, and feelings. Maybe they just, are in an uncomfortable argument with their partner or a sibling or a friend, and that's, sort of what's churning. But then as our meditation deepens, our attention begins to shift away, and I will say shift through sensations, feelings, and thoughts, and go somewhere deeper, quieter, a certain stillness. A lot of people will think that they have fallen asleep, but they've actually entered into a place, I will say, a place that's always here, but attention has now shifted into awareness. And they're beginning to rest in the spaciousness of awareness, of wholeness, of presence. I use these words interchangeably. So often this feeling, this blissful melting away, so restful, maybe even that sense of joy of like, I could just be, it's okay, I'm just here. That is this, can be these stages 35 through 36, where our attention moves away from sensations, emotions, thoughts, all this not good enough or specific feelings, and we're very curious about the presence that we are, this consciousness. We already recognize that it pervades everything, it permeates everything. And now we want to know more. We begin to stabilize our relationship with our own wholeness. We begin to know exactly the signals, the feelings when that intimate connection is there. And we begin to recognize or develop our relationship with this presence as an animated and lively emptiness. We see it take form, we see it become formless. And while it can be very scary for many of us to consider that what we are is a grand emptiness, in this stage of exploration, with the support of this map, we realize that we're not just empty of being, and we're no longer being, but that this emptiness is actually a vast spaciousness. And it's so lively, it's so animated, it's so wise that it does not feel empty like a great abyss that we're often frightened of, but it's rather this this beautiful emptiness. There's a book by Adyashanti, Emptiness Dancing, I believe is the title. And that's what we encounter here at this stage, this dancing emptiness that we are. And that brings us to the final stage of the meditation map, number 37, here at the top, where we have explored these stages of meditation and we arrive at this knowing of our own presence. And and it's intimate, and it's an intimate knowing. It's not a knowing of the mind through thought. It's a knowing through experience, through the felt sense in our own body, in our own hearts, of that thing that we are, that wholeness that we're made of. And this now begins to be the center of our attention. And we have the opportunity then to live from that center of peacefulness and equanimity and presence and calm. And then we begin to, if you will, discover life from that center. So if meditation for so many of us serves as a place that we go to find that calm center, here as we develop our meditation, this map shows us that what is possible is to live from that center with an intimate connection, immediate, accessible connection to our own center of calm, our own ocean of presence, and to then experiences the changing landscape of life from that place of calm. So much so that those things that used to bother us oh so much don't. Not as much anymore, because our calm center, our peacefulness is within access all the time. So that was a lot. That's the map for you. Here, I'll let you see it again in its fullness. I hope this gave you a taste of what the map can offer you. If you're new to meditation, if you've been practicing and feeling confused or lost or unsuccessful, if you've been meditating and having delicious experiences of melting away and deep rest, and you want to explore those more deeply, know them more intimately, if you've grown curious about the quote-unquote spiritual side of yoga, if you encounter the ups and downs of life and you want to regularly feel that center of calm and live life from that center of calm, then I invite you to join me for this new course. And this new course will explore this map of meditation, this path of meditation in depth. So today is an orientation to this map, which I hope can serve you in and of itself. And if you're curious, if you'd like to learn more, I am offering an 8-week long video course and Yoga Nidra study group. It starts on October 15th, and each one of the 8 weekly sessions is 90 minutes long, and they include a talk, a Q&A time, questions and answers time, and a Yoga Nidra meditation. These will be live on Zoom, and you can log in live online or call in. So those are the few words that I'd like to share about the course, and I'd like to offer us now a meditation, a brief meditation that explores this map, that essentially touches into all stages of the map. So I invite you to get comfortable, and I will put up a picture of, I recently visited Israel and saw a gorgeous sunset that is a deep inspiration for me. So I will put that up in case you want to keep your eyes open during the meditation and have something to look at, or if you peek during your meditation and want to see something perhaps inspiring to you as well. Now that's the sunset on a Herzliya beach in Israel. And we are going to begin our meditation. I invite you to settle into a comfortable or a least uncomfortable position. Our meditation begins now. And we begin by sensing the ground below us, whatever you're sitting on, the floor, a chair, perhaps you're leaning on a wall, feeling that contact with earth. We are now exploring that first stage of sensations, the physical body, the senses, taking in sounds, fragrances, images, the touch of air on your skin, perhaps the sense of temperature in the room you're in. And scanning through the body, noticing sensations in the feet and legs, in the pelvis and torso, in the arms and hands, throat, mouth, ears, nose, eyes. A brief hello, a welcome to your whole body. And whatever experiences, sensations are showing up in the body. Here at the entrance, at the beginning of our practice, we want to check in with an intention. Is there an intention arising for your practice, for your meditation? Perhaps to reconnect with self, to explore a sense of presence, to experience the map of meditation, perhaps to simply be. Notice your intention. In the iRest Yoga Nidra tradition, we begin with noticing our intention, and then we inquire with our hearts as to our heartfelt desire, something that your heart wishes and longs for more than this practice, perhaps for the next 6 to 18 months of your life. What is it that you want? Again, noticing sensations in the body, many kinds of feelings that are showing up, the feeling of warmth or coolness, feeling contracted or expansive. Any sort of tactile feelings in the body. Notice. Notice too any emotional tone or an emotion that perhaps is visiting with you. Maybe it just showed up. Maybe it's been around all day, all month. Whatever it is, we're going past words and labels now into experience, bringing attention to feelings, emotions. What emotion is visiting with you? Notice. Are there any thoughts that accompany this emotion? or these sensations that you're experiencing in your body. Maybe thoughts about this meditation, or what you should be doing later, what you should have done earlier. Thoughts about your schedule or work. Whatever it is, noticing thoughts. Are they fast? Are they slow? Are there a lot of them or just a few? Maybe it's the thought, I can't settle down, or I can't do this meditation. That's a thought. Notice this thought. And begin to shift your attention to the noticing of the thought. So you're experiencing a thought and then noticing the thought. There's, I can't settle down here. I can't do this meditation. And there's some part of you that's noticing this thought as it comes along. Bring attention to that noticing. If a thought doesn't show up, bring attention to a sensation and then the noticing of the sensation. So there's our experience and the noticing of our experience, like a subject-object relationship, a seer and seen, experience and experiencer. And perhaps this thought, if one shows up, perhaps this thought is about not good enough, not a good enough meditator. I didn't treat myself well enough today. I'm so tired. I wish I had more space, more time for myself. I wish I could do this better, perfectly. I wish I knew more. So much information has just been shared. I wish I knew more about yoga. I wish I knew more about this map. I wish I understood it better. Notice if these not something enough thoughts are showing up. And come back to the noticing of these thoughts. Thoughts of not good enough come and go in the wholeness that we are. They seem to threaten it. They seem to take our wholeness away, but they don't. Feel now that part of you, which is really not a part. Feel now that spaciousness that you are, that wholeness in which these thoughts show up. And this wholeness, it's wise, it's spacious, it's timeless, it's always present and perfect, complete. Noticing how sensations, emotions, and yes, the breath too. Noticing breath. How breath, sensations, emotions, thoughts, they come and go in this vast wholeness that we are. We all are. We all are this wholeness. Feel the interconnectedness. of all of us here meditating together, and really the whole universe, not separate, not alone, but a part of this pulsating, pulsating aliveness that permeates and enlivens every object, everything, every person, every animal, every nature being. Pulsates with aliveness, the aliveness of presence. Receive a sense now, a feeling of this presence. Perhaps it's joy or ease or a subtle okayness. Maybe it feels like calm. Rest here in the calmness that you are, in the vast field of peace that you are, in which all of life arises and dissolves. We'll spend a moment with this in silence and then conclude our meditation. I invite you to locate one thing that you are grateful for. And then receive a sense again of your body, where it is in the room. The feeling of the connection with ground, surface, below you, behind you, as a way to conclude this meditation. Thank you. And we have about 10 minutes for questions, feedback, sharing your experience. I'd love to hear what the meditation was like for you. And anything else that I can share about the upcoming course or the map of meditation. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. And the chat is also open if you want to drop your question in there or your comment or feedback. Perhaps still feeling into presence and the effects of the meditation.
It was delicious. It was lovely.
Thank you, Wendy.
It was wonderful. It's hard that I'm going to have to leave in a moment, so it's hard for me to leave now.
Yes.
I'm actually going to a yoga class.
Great. Well, this was a good precursor for yoga.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry that I have to leave, though. I've got to get in my car and drive over there.
I totally understand. And you can follow up with me, give me a call or text or email, and we can chat more about this.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
I'll stay for maybe one more minute.
Okay. Sounds good. Maria, any thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm still, like you're saying, into that meditative state a little bit.
Yes.
So I think like I've told you in the past, you have a voice that is like, you know, you can get in there like in 5 minutes. I'm already on. So I was hearing the words that you were speaking in and out and in and out. So I definitely was in a different place.
Yes.
Than other times that I meditated, which usually consists of more of thoughts going and more thoughts going. This time I was in a different place. I couldn't describe it very well, I think, but no, it was definitely different.
Yes, thank you, Maria. Thank you. Yes, this is exactly what I meant when I was talking about the map. This other place, right? So once we learn more and get to know the map, you can locate what that place is. did I check out and fall asleep, or was I in a more intimate connection with presence? Was I lingering at number 24, or was I somewhere at number 33 and engaging with consciousness? This is exactly what I mean. You know, we can have our experience of meditation and then know where we were on the map and where we are in our engagement with presence. And it does take us deeper. That's been my personal experience. It takes us much, much deeper. And I'm hearing that resonance when you speak. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, it's different from doing it on my own and by myself, which I feel that I don't make a lot of progress, but this it kind of gives me some hope that you know, progress through that map can be achieved.
Definitely. Definitely. Yes, definitely. And that's why I was sharing that when I started meditating, some of it was on my own, some of it was with teachers. It was lovely, you know. I mean, sometimes I was meeting a lot of discomfort and dis-ease, but regardless of that, it was a lovely experience of meditation. And then I discovered the map, you know, or then I learned about the map in the iRest Yoga Nidra training, and was able to understand my practice and take it deeper. And again, it's not a mind kind of understanding, although when our minds understand something, it gives us greater access to experience. You know, it doesn't stand in the way anymore. It's like, oh, I know you're walking the territory of this map. Go ahead. I'll take a back seat. Go ahead. Experience. Yes. Yes. So that's possible, Maria. Very much so. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Liliana, any questions or feedback?
Yeah, Shira. First of all, thank you very, very much. It was so meaningful, I'll say, for me personally, to understand what I was doing till now, somehow intuitively.
Yes.
The meditation was very, very deep, was healing, because I proposed it for myself to be healing.
Yes.
And what is also interesting for me, it's this sense which I got today, thanks to the map and to your explanation, is exactly that now I am doing it, should I say it, more professional, more mature, I would say. And this also raised my appetite to do it, you know, to go deeper and to do it, the word which is coming to me is more mindful, you know.
Yes.
Because till now, as you say, yes, it was mostly a pleasant experience, the meditation.
Yeah.
It was a kind of intuitive escape or intuitive healing system, but now I understand that I can use it, you know, in a way, just going from the traditional medicine, I'll say, going to something what I will understand where I am, how to use it. And also your map, I'm not sure, but Shira, I think we can use it even when we are conscious. Am I right? Like trying to work with our, maybe some feelings which we have during the day, or during a meeting. I don't know. I found it absolutely fascinating, the map, understanding that it's full of knowledges and possibilities, and it resonated with me very much. Thank you for this information which you're sharing, so clear, so in simple words, by the way, which once again, thank you so much, because reading it or just looking to the picture, I was not sure if I was gonna get so fast there.
Right. Yes, thank you. And that's really what I was hoping to be able to introduce in this session, in this orientation to the map, to give you a sense. I mean, just knowing that there's a map out there and now knowing the different stages is a huge support to our personal practice. And also to know that there is an upcoming course. It starts on October 15th. And each week we're going to be covering just a single stage. I'm going to have about 45 minutes to talk just about a single stage. So imagine the depth of wisdom and exploration that we can get into. And then accompanying that is about a 30-minute long Yoga Nidra meditation for each single stage of the map and each single session of the 8 sessions. So you'll have about 45 minutes of engaging with the material, the wisdom from the stage, about 15 minutes for Q&A, and a full 30-minute Yoga Nidra, iRest Yoga Nidra meditation. And I've had a few other questions that I'd like to offer some answers for that came from people who weren't able to join live today. I was asked what happens if people cannot join live. So the 8-week-long course will be taking place on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Starting October 15th for 8 weeks, 8 consecutive weeks. And all the sessions are recorded, and there's a course homepage, a private homepage on my website where all the recordings are going to be accessible along with all the meditations, so you will not miss a thing. They're going to be recorded live and shared usually within 24 hours on the home course, on the course homepage. So, and on that course page, there's also space to put in comments and feedback and questions. So all this stuff that when you're participating live, you get access to, you also have access to when you're listening to the recording later. You can also listen to it live, and then something occurs to you in the week in between, and you want to just put your feedback, your comments, your questions in there, and it's just private for our group. So that's a lovely benefit of joining this course, and you don't even have to have those Tuesday evenings free, although I would love to have you join me live. The other question was about logging into these sessions. You can log in through Zoom online, and if it's your first time using Zoom, you do need to download Zoom. It takes about 2 seconds, and it downloads, and then you don't have to download it again for the 8 weeks. So you can log in via Zoom on your desktop or other device. And you can also call in, regular phone, call in, and I will send that information once you register. And that's the next.
Shira,
yes.
if I can interfere here, thank you very much for choosing Zoom. Actually, I was afraid about, I'm not so technologically, I'll say, advanced, but Zoom was the easiest, I think, app which I ever used. So it was absolutely easy, just, clicking on the number which you gave to us, which is an address, and then everything was done just by itself. It's just important to say yes, yes, yes for me, for microphone and for video. So in this sense, there is like literally zero complications in terms of connecting with you.
Fantastic. I'm glad to hear it. And you're connecting via your phone?
Yes, I'm connecting via my phone. It was easy, very easy. At the beginning, just to see. Then I understood that I will feel better to switch off the video and to lie on my bed. And I was doing it during the process. Then
Great.
it's easy. It's absolutely easy. It's the best. I'll say, application which was possible to use.
Fantastic. I'm so glad to hear it. Yeah, that was my experience as a participant in another course. And it's what made me realize that I can do this too. I can do this. Yes, it's really simple. Yeah, thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate it. And yeah, whenever you do participate live online, you do have an option to have your camera on or off, to have your mic muted or on, and to drop in questions or comments in the chat box. So that's always available. And so the last question I'd like to answer is about registering for the course. If you are interested, registration is on my website. So you can go to Shira Oz-Sinai. That's ShiraOzSinai.com. And on the homepage, if you scroll down to about halfway through the page, there's a link to the meditation map course. It starts on October 15th. There's options to do one payment, one single payment, or split it into a couple payments. I know we are, some of us are going through challenging times, so I want to make this accessible and available as much as I can. Any other questions or feedback?
No, it's just lovely from my side. I would like to say also thank you for choosing so wise the time, because it's 7 p.m. I say in Washington, D.C. And after that, it's such a feeling, you know, like a beautiful evening, and you can just lightly swim, like, you know, into a nice, relaxing evening. So even the time was just perfectly. So thank you for doing it. I'm looking forward to just sign in for the course. It seems to be like really interesting. Thank you for doing it.
Mariana. I'm glad to hear that feedback about the time. That was a big debate for me, and I ended up settling on this time because of convenience for people that work 9 to 5, or that time at home in the evening, maybe after a light dinner. And one question that I was asked was about, our sessions for the course are 7 to 8:30, and the meditation will be around 8 to 8:30. And people were wondering, well, if I fall asleep for the meditation, how will I sleep at night? So I want to let everybody know, I want to let you know and everybody know that you can attend from 7 to 8 and listen to the discussion, the talk and the discussion of that stage of meditation. And you can check out after that. And then the next day, once the meditation is up online on our homepage, you can listen to the meditation at the time that works for you. And you can listen to it as many times throughout the week until the next session is uploaded. So there are really lots of options as to how to play with it. And it does not need to disturb your sleep. Actually, it's supposed to support your sleep and your life.
Shira, may I ask you a question about this first meditation, this first introduction into session? It will also be available on your website in case if you would like to go also back to this first, or to share it. I intend to share it with some other friends, so it will be on your website also.
Yes, thank you. It will be on the website. I will have the link up for it within probably 24 hours or a little bit more than that. And I'll also email it to everyone that's on my email list. So you will definitely have it and easy to share with others. And please do. I'd love to have a nice group. It's a study group. It's really a study group of meditation, and we rely on each other and our feedback and our experiences to deepen, to go deeper, to understand this presence thing that we are. So yes, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Any last questions or comments, Maria, Liliana?
No, I'm good. Thank you for this stage.
All right.
I guess I was on mute. I'm sorry, Shira.
Oh, it's all good.
I muted myself while my cat was making some noises here.
Perfect. I'm glad you knew how to mute yourself. That's an advanced feature.
Yeah, but I wanted to also thank you so much for being so generous with your time and having this making this available to all of us. I will take the course. I don't know if it will be for me this time, but I love your sessions. That. So at some point it will work out for me to do this with you.
Sure.
But thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah. Thank you, Maria. Right. And I truly share this because of just how supportive this map has been in my life. And I am so eager to journey through it again and again and again. So if you can't join me for this course, I do intend on offering it again. Yeah. And I hope you'll join me.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much. All right. So I'm going to log out now. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good.
Right.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Shira. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.